Like, you're just lying to people, ultimately. You're trying to radicalize people, and you know you can't do that by being honest. So you have to clickbait it, you have to lie. And that's really quite gross, actually.
Why am I dancing with that trans person?
Woman arrested in Florida for being transgender. This seems quite, like, do I believe this? Do I not believe this? I don't know. Literally, it's saying that you can be arrested for being trans now. Which I'm not very sure about myself. Non-binary trans person making content for the LGBTQIA+ community. Yeah, it's another trans progressive person. But hey, listen, if someone actually has been arrested for being transgender, then that's pretty fucked. We're gonna have to find out what the truth is, I guess. This is someone called Leah Passaniti. I watch her sometimes. Kind of exploded, actually. Like, not been around that much longer than I have, and like 13.8k subscribers, which, hey, listen, not gonna knock that. If you're able to grow your shit, then that's always a good thing. I have a Patreon as well, much like myself. $138 a month. I mean, there's nothing to sneeze at, for sure. But yeah, arrested for being trans. I guess we'll see what's going on.
Welcome to this video. Throughout the course of history and in the fight for civil rights, civil disobedience has been a powerful tool to protest unjust or discriminatory laws. We've seen it used many times over in an effort to point out the cruel, unfair, or harmful nature of laws that target minority groups. But unfortunately, this is not just a thing of the past. This is not just something we used to do. Civil disobedience is an important tool for us today. Here
So we're priming civil disobedience. Does that mean this person possibly did something other than being transgender? Let's see. Jessie Gender released a new video. Wow, I can't wait to not watch it. I mean, I might. It depends what it's about.
in 2025 in our fight for our rights. Today, I have a really important story that I want to cover. We really need to spread awareness of what has happened here, because if no one hears about this, then it's a sacrifice made in vain, and that would be so horrible. So I really, really do think that this is important. If you stick around and watch the video, that's great, but try to spread this to other people. Try to send this to some friends. Try to send this to other people that are not aware of what happened here in this situation, because this is vitally important. Okay, so here we are, and here's the article. Of course, we're using Aaron in the Morning as a source.
First off, Aaron in the Morning, very, very, very biased source. Be very careful looking at any of this. And if you want more information on how Aaron Reed is in fact a massive liar, look into the 216 errors in the WPATH files. Complete nonsense. She lists about 10 and half of them are wrong. The full list has never been shown anywhere. And straight away, you see what I mean? Arrested in Florida for being transgender. This says that she was arrested, sent to a men's jail for entering the Florida Capitol bathroom. And I mean, listen, would I arrest someone for going into the wrong bathroom? That seems a bit much. But I mean, they passed a bill, didn't they? Like, this is a federal building, right? You can't go in the wrong sexed bathroom, if that's what we're calling it. In like federal buildings. So this person will have known what would have happened. So straight away, this title is kind of lying to us. This person being transgender by itself is not why they're being arrested. We know this already. Oh, this person, listen, the problem is people believe in people like Aaron Reed. She sucks. But like the amount of people that fully believe in this person and think this person is doing good work and think this person is honest. It's like, I can't even blame people like this anymore. That's the worst part. Hang on, I'm actually covering her now. It's annoying. Ooh. Like, people are so indoctrinated that they'll listen to people like Aaron Reed. That's unfortunately just kind of how it is. I'll be covering it. We'll go here. Mike Chat can cover me. That's fine. That's fine.
Source for this. And I just wanted to say, I didn't really notice this. I've used her articles in the past, and she hosts this website, but there are sometimes guest authors, and I really did not notice that. I thought all of this was written by Aaron. That's not true. So I just wanted to say sorry if I, didn't properly shout out the author.
Yeah, I mean, other people can lie on Aaron's behalf now. How nice.
Of these articles. My bad. But here is the title of the article: Trans woman arrested, sent to men's jail for entering Florida Capitol bathroom. I'm not a political activist, she maintained. I'm just a normal college student who thinks this law is wrong. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and just jump.
Yeah, so not arrested for being transgender. So we're lying. Oh no. Jesse's new video is on the Trump tariffs. Yeah, I mean, Jesse Gender. What the fuck does Jesse Gender know about tariffs or any of that shit? I don't know. To be honest, I don't. I think the tariffs seem pretty fucking insane. But there are people making actual arguments about stuff like that who seem like they know anything about anything. I mean, that Brad Palumbo seems like one of them. He's been pushing back on that kind of thing. Like I don't go to fucking Jesse Gender for like economic analysis. Most of those people don't know fuck all about that kind of thing.
Right into the article. When 20-year-old college student Marcy, I don't know how to say her last name, Reintgen or something like that, made her yearly spring break trip to her grandparents' property in Florida, she said that she felt at peace. Until March 19, when police escorted her out of the bathroom of the state capitol building and
Yeah, which is illegal. Violated a 2023 state law criminalizing people. Yeah. So, did something illegal and was arrested for it. Don't know if I agree with the law myself. Seems kind of crazy. This person looks like they probably would be okay. I don't know what they were doing exactly. Maybe they don't pass as well as the picture. But ultimately, they did something illegal in that state. They would have known it was illegal and they got arrested for it. It's kind of... I don't know, man. I don't know.
Placed her in handcuffs. Evidently, Reintgen had violated a 2023 state law criminalizing trans people who use government-owned public restrooms that aligned with their gender. Tampa Bay Times reporter Rami Ellenbogen accompanied Reintgen to the Capitol. When they arrived, several officers were stationed outside the women's restroom doors. They warned her not to enter the women's...
Listen, there probably are things that I agree with Jesse Gender or anyone else like that on. I just don't like them, so... And if they're a far leftist, I automatically assume they probably don't know very much about capitalism, about economics, about any of that shit. Most of them don't. And like most of them are that way because they're shit at making money, which I can completely relate to. I'm also shit at making money. But I don't assume that that means the system must be bad and needs changing to something that has never worked anywhere and seems to have a habit of morphing into totalitarian states where human rights are just not in the picture at all, let alone trans rights.
Women's restroom. Draped in a white frilly dress and in a pink bow, Reintgen went in anyway and washed her hand. That's when police entered the restroom and told Reintgen she was being detained. A devout Catholic, she had wanted to take a moment to pray the rosary, but she never got the chance. After spending less than 60...
Wait, so... Several officers stationed outside. She was told not to. She went in anyway, so... I don't know, bro. You know it's illegal. You were told it's illegal. You did it anyway. Like, this is a stunt. And what you get for pulling a stunt like this is that some idiot like this will make a video claiming that you got arrested for being transgender. Like, come on, bro. How did the cops know to arrest it? Well, they probably noticed certain things about this person. Obviously, they were right because this person is trans. No one's denying that. They told them not to go in, and they went in anyway. Dude thinks these Rosa Parks are trying to watch chicks pee. Fucking hell.
Being detained. A devout Catholic, she had wanted to take a moment to pray the rosary, but she never got the chance. After spending less than 60 seconds in the women's restroom, Reintgen said she was charged with trespassing with a warning. Meanwhile, her rosary was confiscated as an officer from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement handcuffed and detained Reintgen, searched her person and her vehicle, and shuttled her to the Leon County Detention Facility, where she stayed overnight in the men's ward. If convicted, she could spend up to 60 days incarcerated in a men's facility. The FDLE did not respond to a request for comment. About a week before her trek, she sent about 160 print letters to Florida lawmakers announcing she would engage in the time-honored practice of civil disobedience. She would use the women's restroom at the Florida State Capitol. She named her date and time. So I'm going to go ahead and read the letter that she wrote here. She said, "Hi, my name is Marcy Reintgen. I'm a 20-year-old college student, and I'm writing this letter to tell you that I'm going to break the law. On March 19th at around..."
This is fuck around and find out as fuck. I'm sorry. I have no sympathy. I don't like this law necessarily. It seems over the top. Arresting like a trans woman for using like a bathroom. It seems crazy to me. But it's not like this person didn't know. They knew they were going to do this. This is like a stunt. They say, I'm not a political activist. Well, you kind of are now. Like, I'm sorry, man. First off, this is fuck around and find out. Second off, I'm sure this person can count on the fact that a progressive trans person like this will make a dishonest video about it. And by the way... Actually, never mind.
Around 3 p.m., I intend to use the women's bathroom on the second floor of the Capitol building across from room 222C. I know that as a transgender woman, this means I will probably be arrested. I am violating this law because I personally believe it to be wrong. I don't work for and I'm not associated with any major political or media organizations. I'm not a political activist. I'm not an influencer. I'm just a normal college student who thinks this law is wrong. Enclosed is a photo of me to identify me if you wish to arrest me. I understand that I could go to jail for up to 60 days in a men's prison where, if the statistics are true, which they are, I would likely be raped. Going to jail would uproot my life and give...
What? I understand I could, if the statistics are true, I'd likely be right. Like, oh. This is rough, man. This is rough. You say you're not a political activist. You certainly sound like one. I mean, what do you expect? You don't have to do this. Is there no other way you could protest a law like this?
Give me a criminal record. I understand that if you're receiving this letter, you are part of the Florida bicameral legislature, which means you're probably one of the people who wrote this law or voted for it. I know that you know in your heart that this law is wrong and unjust. I know that you know in your heart that it's wrong to arrest me.
Don't they separate the trans ones from Gen Pop? I've heard they do. I don't know if this person specifically would be separated. I don't know why we're needing to guilt trip people over this. But I don't know, man. This is fuck around and find out.
And jail me for 60 days for simply using the bathroom. I know that you know in your heart that transgender people are human too, and you can't arrest us away. I know that
simply using the bathroom. Like, I'm sorry, man. Like, I'm not saying I agree with this law, but like, yeah, I don't know. Well, the thing is, you can be sympathetic with this person. The other thing is, you're going to get these shitty articles written by Aaron in the morning. You're going to get these shitty videos made by people like this, claiming things like this, which are not true. This is a bit ridiculous.
That you know in your heart that transgender people are no different from you or anybody else. I know that you know in your heart that the same people that go to church with you, eat in the same restaurants, go to the same schools, root for the same sports teams, watch the same movies, and pray to the same God as you cannot be all bad. I know that you know that I have dignity. That's why I know you won't arrest me. Pray for me, Marcy Rentgen. And then so the article goes on.
That's why I know you won't arrest me. You fucked around and found out, bro.
You know that I have dignity. That's why I know you won't arrest me. Pray for me, Marcy Rentgen. And then so the article goes on down here below to say, I'm a really religious person, she told Aaron in the morning. She's a devout Catholic who describes herself as a political centrist with an appreciation for family values, but a soft spot for Dorothy Day, the prolific Catholic left-wing activist. A police affidavit she shared with Aaron in the morning with her dead name blurred out below and the wrong pronouns listed otherwise corroborates most all of her story. So I'm going to read this affidavit right here, but I'm going to correct the pronoun usage, so I'm not going to misgender Marcy. But just keep in mind.
Yeah, it's very important you understand.
That like in this affidavit, every time I use she, her pronouns, they did not do that. They definitely misgendered and they dead named her, which is, you know, super terrible. On Wednesday, March 19th.
The thing is, these people actually mean it. It's not the end of the world. Who cares? Like, get over it. This is what happens when you have any actual problems in your life. You start caring about fucking dead naming and misgendering. That letter is manipulative. I think so too, yeah. I'm not getting a very good impression of this Marcy person.
2025 at approximately 3 p.m., Officer Weber made contact with Marcy Rentgen on the second floor of the House Office building on the Florida State Capitol. Rentgen had previously sent a letter, which was received by FDLE Capitol Police, explaining that she would be coming to the Capitol to use the women's restroom across from the House room 222C, intending to break the law as a transgender woman, which they put in quotes, entering the women's restroom. Officer Weber and Investigator Tharp made contact just outside the women's restroom on floor 2 of the House Office building and advised that Capitol Police had received the letter and informed Rentgen that she was not allowed in the women's restroom and would be given a trespass warning if she entered. Rentgen acknowledged the warning, said, "I am here to break the law," and proceeded to enter the women's restroom. Officer Weber entered the restroom and advised Rentgen was being issued a trespass warning for all women's restrooms in the Capitol Tower and the House Office building. Rentgen explained that she did not agree with the law and did not want to leave. Officer Weber explained that Rentgen would be subject to arrest if she did not leave, and Rentgen acknowledged it, saying, "Okay." Rentgen was escorted to P level and placed under arrest for trespass after warning due to not meeting the criteria for a notice to appear. Officer Weber handcuffed Rentgen and searched her person and transport vehicle before transporting to the Leon County Detention Facility. Now, interestingly, here in this affidavit, they make no mention of her, requesting to have a moment to pray and them denying that. So I feel like this.
Does that matter?
Is a watered down, sterilized version of events that is an attempt to try to make the officers seem more reasonable or whatever. Rentgen's telling is also corroborated.
Usually freedom of religion or like religious rights aren't big with these kinds of people, but okay.
By reports from the Tampa Bay Times journalist who accompanied Rentgen to the bathroom. "I actually wanted to move to Florida when I was older, growing up, but I don't know if I can do that now," she said. She fondly remembers her favorite beaches and the bologna sandwiches with her grandparents, but now it seems her home away from home isn't safe for her. "I don't want attention. I just want people to see this law and how crazy it is to put people like us in jail. I was so
Yeah, like even the way this article is written is quite manipulative. Like her home away from home isn't safe for her. Why does it seem like that way now when she intentionally broke the law and got arrested for it? Does that mean that Florida is not safe for this person? Like, what are we talking about?
Home isn't safe for her. I don't want attention. I just want people to see this law and how crazy it is to put people like us in jail.
I don't want attention. Like, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, man. Everything this person has done, they're like saying all this kind of shit that's like completely contrary to like what they're like getting up to.
I was so terrified, she said. She admits that she hadn't consulted legal or advocacy organizations before the endeavor. She didn't know what to expect. They were treating me like I murdered someone, but I just used the quote-unquote wrong bathroom. Now, of course, it's not the wrong bathroom. That's the whole point. Reinkin said she was motivated to act after seeing used the quote-unquote wrong bathroom. Now, of course, it's not the wrong bathroom.
Legally, Leah Passaniti, it is the wrong bathroom, and she got arrested for using the wrong bathroom.
That's the whole point. Reinkin said she was motivated to act after seeing the anti-trans legislation surge throughout the United States, and when she read about Hunter Schafer, the Euphoria actress.
You got radicalized by Hunter Schafer's passport having an M on it, despite being a woman. You see this, like, fuck me, man. Let's just, how many times can we just pretend that the obvious isn't there?
Who was issued a male passport despite being a woman. She's a personal hero of mine, Reinkin said. The fear and the vitriol she saw play out over the news cycle brought her to a breaking point. While bills like bathroom bans and drag bans have been sweeping the country in recent years, the criminalization of gender diverse people is by no means new. Black and brown trans women especially have been routinely criminalized for decades under the guise of solicitation or loitering ordinances, even in so-called liberal strongholds like New York. The phenomenon is so pervasive that it has been dubbed the walking while trans ban. John Harris Maurer, public policy director of Equality Florida, emphasized
I've never heard of that, to be clear.
The bathroom bans are just the latest attempt by the state's GOP to eradicate trans people from public life. These are hardworking, tax-paying individuals who are our family, neighbors, and colleagues, he told Aaron in the Morning. Weaponizing bathroom access in a place like the state capitol is an anti-democratic effort to block them from directly participating in government while simultaneously stripping their rights behind closed doors.
Mate, they made a law about it. I'm sorry. Like, we're just coping. I'm not saying I agree with the law, but then this person tells people that they're going to break the law. What do you expect them to just, okay, fine, in that case you can do it? It's just, none of this makes sense to me. Like, I don't have much sympathy, I'm going to be honest.
Now that's a really poignant statement.
Quit using black and brown people to make your arguments. Yep, it would be nice if they did that, but they're not going to.
Right there. So the first thing that I want to say is that she's sacrificing her freedom, a clean criminal record, and risking the potential of jail time in an extremely unsafe environment. I mean, you can look at the statistics. Jailing women with men is just not a good idea. The chances of sexual harassment or abuse of that nature is astronomically high and almost
Again, sex doesn't exist. Jailing women with men. Do you mean women or trans women?
certainty. Everyone has to give her kudos for taking on that risk and that potential for harm. I don't think that that's easy for anyone to do. I don't think that that's something that anyone wakes up and wants to do, but she had a drive to try to make a point here. That's really noble. I think that's an honorable thing to do, to put yourself on the line, put your safety on the line even, to push for human rights, to try to make a difference. The next thing I want to mention is that like bathroom bans are almost impossible to enforce. And I feel like this is almost
not when you tell them in advance, they're not.
An example of that. Like she announced she was going to be there, the date and time, and sent a picture of what she looked like. And if she hadn't done that, there wouldn't have been officers there waiting outside the bathroom. If she had just gone to the state capitol and gone into the bathroom and used it and then left, none of this would have happened. Like
yeah, it's almost like maybe she did want attention.
She had to send a letter to basically announce that she was going to break this law. You could think about it like this. This could have all gone down, and then a separate trans woman could have gone into the bathroom like 20 minutes later there, and nothing would have happened unless someone had specifically, transvestigated or whatever. But we've seen how frequently that can blow up in someone's face. We've seen a lot of instances lately of cis women who are like super tall, or maybe a little bit like a butch lesbian and not.
We've seen lots of them. If we've seen lots of them, let's see them. It certainly happens.
Super like femme presenting, and they get harassed by police or harassed by random strangers who think they're trans women when they're literally just cis women. This kind of stuff really harms gender nonconforming people on a very deep level. And I think to be honest, it's not even mostly trans women so far that are being harmed by these bathroom bans. All sorts of
Most prominent case study, North Carolina. I mean, this source here is queer AF. Like, don't know about this, bro. Trans Media Watch's Helen Belcher told me bathroom bills reduce people to their appearance, blah, blah, blah. Women start to get singled out. Like, some of this is true for sure, but like, how often does it happen? How often does it resolve badly? I think it'd be nice to see some like actual evidence and not just whatever this is. which is not even cited. I'd have to put in keywords and stuff.
People are being harmed by these bathroom bans because it's creating a cultural tension where there was none. It's creating an issue.
No, what's created the cultural tension is like men that don't look like women whatsoever insisting that they should be using the female bathroom. That's where the cultural tension has come from. And that's why these bathroom bills, which probably aren't very helpful and probably aren't going to do fuck all and might cause further issues, that's why they're starting to get traction ultimately.
Where there was none. So like all of that is to kind of say that like she didn't really have to make a show of this. She could have just gone there and used the restroom, but it's clear that like, you know, she wanted to make a point. I also wanted to talk about the fact.
Yeah, she wanted attention. And then we'll go to Erin in the morning saying, I don't want attention. It just doesn't really add up, does it?
That they searched her and her car, probably looking for anything, like literally anything that they could slap her with to give her like more jail time or to make her seem like some criminal or whatever. Like if she had maybe like a little bit of weed on her or something, like I'm sure that would have been a whole other thing. Now, I don't know the legal status. I don't know what Florida is on about. Like I don't think they've legalized it or anything. So you know what I mean? Like I feel like the searching of her and her car was like a desperate bid to try to be like, what else can we get on you? What else can we dig up to try to like.
What? Well, if they committed a crime, they're probably going to search their property. Like, how do they know that she hadn't planned something? How do they know she didn't have fucking explosives on her somewhere or something like that? You know what I mean? Like, this is just empty cynicism is what this is.
Slap you with more jail time or whatever. Like, I feel like that's not really a super wonderful tactic. You know, like that's kind of shitty. This is such a waste of taxpayer dollars and police force time. Like there were several officers waiting outside the bathroom. How long were they standing there waiting for? Like this is their super important job. You know, they trained for life and death situations so that they could stand outside of a woman's bathroom and arrest a completely harmless person who's just there to wash her hands. And if people actually cared about like wasting taxpayer
just here to wash her hands, that's why she wrote a letter. This person is like so dishonest. It grosses me out, honestly, how much like traction you can potentially get just doing the same progressive slop as every other progressive, getting all your news from Erin in the morning, spending like large amounts of the video just reading the fucking thing and then coming to every dipshit conclusion possible. Apparently there's trolls in the comments section. I'm just trying to see if I can find. Thought she was arrested randomly, not intentionally provoking the government. I would listen to the rest of the video, but I mean, like, what's the point? This was some political stunt. I thought she was just randomly using the restroom and they chose to arrest her, if that holds a completely different meaning than intentionally provoking them. I use the restroom whenever I go, but I don't like public restrooms already, so most of the time I try not to. I can help it. If I have to, I just go. Most people don't care. The people who do care aren't bold enough to call the cops on you while you're just using the restroom. Blah, 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 blah. It's quite long. I do understand that and applaud anyone who fights for our rights. But I mean, if you're looking for to be arrested and intentionally provoke them to arrest you, I mean, what do you need me to feel? I guess I kind of agree with this person. Like, they're making the point that the whole law itself is a bit ridiculous. And, oh, I'm doing this innocuous thing and now I'm getting arrested. And I do understand that. They search every single person who gets arrested. Yeah. This is empty cynicism, is what she's saying. But like, we're gonna act like you got arrested for being transgender. It's just so gross. Why am I still subscribed to you? Like, why am I still
dollars, like waste, fraud, and abuse, that kind of stuff that everyone on the right's talking about? If they actually cared about that kind of stuff, then the first place you would want to go are like police budgets or like defense spending, like the pen.
Mate, I don't take any. If you actually cared, you do this statements from a 20-something trans woman, non-binary trans woman with a fucking keffiyeh and a blahage. No offense.
Pentagon. Like these kinds of areas are the areas where we see colossal waste, fraud, and abuse. I mean, you can have officers are just playing Candy Crush on their phone.
Wait, I stopped for what we're talking about waste and it'd be like fucking out. You could get me to agree that probably some of the Doge stuff is insane, but like, what are we doing? Yeah, I don't know. Man arrested. Law says... Wait, what? Law says you have to use the restroom with the gender assigned to you at birth. What is a gender assigned to you at birth? You literally follow the law, jail time. Okay, this person's actually insane. Okay, this might be interesting. I'm a transgender woman. Of course, I disagree with the legislature. Yep, I feel the same way. But we have to be honest and objective. She knew exactly what she was getting into. She said in her letter she'd probably be arrested. She was warned and still went ahead with it. Does that make it okay in that situation can even happen in modern society? No, absolutely not. It's disgusting. Especially doing full searches of her car. Mate, they're gonna search her. She got arrested. What are they supposed to do? Just ignore anything in there? There was a guy in the UK. They didn't do a proper full body search on him. He ended up smuggling a fucking gun into the police station and shooting a fucking sergeant. Like, obviously they're going to search. Why are these people so stupid? I don't think this was the right way to protest because it's small scale. It's a big risk it'll fall on deaf ears. Yeah, people are going to hear this and be like, okay, you fucked around and found out, ultimately. Hope she's freed and doesn't see the inside of a men's prison. I think a more effective protest would be trans women using the men's room en masse. We go in groups, do our makeup, hang out, be fun, be peaceful, blah 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 blah. I don't know. At least you're not breaking the law doing that, I guess. I don't know, I agree with bits, but some of that was actually quite stupid. This is a full-on Rosa Parks move. Hey, black people, anyone black watching at the moment? Any black people? This person that got arrested for using the wrong bathroom is just like Rosa Parks. Anyway.
And they're getting paid taxpayer dollars to just play Candy Crush on their phone, and then they get a call.
What the fuck are you talking about?
From one other officer who's like at a traffic stop, and you have like 5 officers show up to deal with one scene, like one specific incident. It's just like this kind
Tell me your ACAB without telling me your ACAB. What the fuck is this person talking about?
of stuff is super out in the open. It's super clear. If you're an American, you've seen it, you know it exists, you know it's true. And if you're not actively rooting for a solution to that problem, then you are part of the problem. Finally, I wanted to mention that like she's not an activist. Like this is not a far left person. This is not like
Okay, I disagree. This is like activist shit she's doing.
A super far left progressive, content creator, activist, but like this is not that at all. This is just like a centrist individual. And she even like the way she talks about herself and the way
Yeah. She's a centrist, so she must. Is that even true? I don't know, man.
she talks about her life, it kind of seems clear to me that she's kind of comfy with the right-wing lifestyle. Like she likes family values.
Right-wing lifestyle, family values. I'm half black, so I can only half disagree. Okay, fair enough.
And she's like a Catholic and stuff like that.
Does family values and Catholicism, does that have to be right-wing?
I feel like you can be agreeable to the right in so many ways. Oh, agreeable on family values, agreeable with Catholicism or Christianity. But if you're trans, or if you're another part of another minority group, or if you're in some other way estranged.
Yeah, they would have continued to be agreeable if they didn't tell the police they were going to break the law and then get arrested for breaking said law at the time and place where they said they were going to do it.
From the cookie cutter style of living that they expect, then you're not going to be accepted. You're going to be rejected. You're going to be treated like an other. You're going to be ousted. The right is not very inclusive. Like they expect people to be like these cookie cutter people who fall into an exact way of living.
God, Charlie did that quietly. I did not notice that. Holy shit. I might have to just leave it there. That's actually funny. That actually cracked me up.
And if you deviate from that even slightly, you're a degenerate, you're a sinner, you're all these things. And
yeah, it's not like this, bro. You don't know any people. You don't know any people that think differently to you. That's the problem here.
That kind of vitriol is ridiculous. Like on the left, you have a lot of disagreements on specific policy, and you have people who disagree on nuanced policy positions. And that's what creates division on the left. But what creates division on the right is like how you're born.
This is such bullshit.
You're born trans, you're born black.
It's way more about what you say, honestly. Like, you can be trans and be accepted on the right. And it's the same on the left. You know why people on like left-leaners tend to fucking hate me? Because I don't agree with them on a bunch of stuff. Right-wingers tend to be nicer to me because the stuff I talk about, I tend to agree with them more. It's much more about the shit you say. It's not about how you're born. You can be black or gay or trans or whatever and get on just fine in like right-wing circles. And people will use like the Lauren Witzke, like Blair White thing as an example. Well, like Jesus Christ, left-wingers have never gone after like left-wing trans women. Like the ContraPoints cancellation never fucking happened. Meanwhile, Blair White gets one person be like, "I'll grow your mustache out and shut the fuck up." by Lauren Witzke, who the fuck is she now compared to Blair White? So who won that one? I don't know, man. No one's born trans. That is very true. Yeah, this person does not understand what they're talking about. Very easy to sit here and spout off about right-wingers when you probably don't know any, you don't really meaningfully interact with any. I don't know, bro. There's probably plenty of right-wingers. If you're just nice to them, they probably would fucking return favor. You think someone calling someone a sinner is vitriol? You simply don't understand religious people. Yeah, there's probably a massive generalization going on here too.
Black, you're born whatever, and that makes you an other, that makes you hated by a lot of these big.
First off, racism exists on both sides. Arguably, it's more represented on the right than the left. But second off, plenty of black people get on just fine in right-wing circles. Quite a few, like, conservative black content creators out there. And if you take it outside of the US, plenty of those black people who are not American or like Western or whatever are probably actually quite conservative and probably quite religious and all sorts of other shit. Like, didn't the Latin vote start moving quite heavily towards Trump? Because some of these people are like far more socially conservative than like fucking white people in the West, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Bigots on the right who simply do not accept diversity. Like they don't care about it. They don't accept it at all. So it's just one of those things that makes me sad when I see like right wing.
Yeah, you're talking about like a fringe and passing it off as like most of the group is what you're doing. It's a massive generalization.
Or like centrist trans people or just any other minority group, like if you're gay or whatever and you're on the right wing, it's like they don't want you there. Like they might act like
that is not necessarily true at all.
Want your vote, but then the second that they have a chance to throw you under the bus, the second they have a chance to arrest you and criminalize your lifestyle and criminalize.
This is so much crazy shit going off of someone who literally told the police they were going to be somewhere and then got arrested at that time and place. Also, I'd have thought this person was a fucking ContraPoints addict, but clearly they skipped the fucking cancellation. That was a left-leaning trans person getting cancelled by left-leaning trans people. This shit goes both ways.
Is who you are. They'll do.
Like, how many of my friends that I used to have that are trans from around here that turned their back on me because I started saying anything they didn't like? We have to stop pretending that this kind of shit is a partisan thing, that it only happens on this side or it only happens on that side. There's problems on both sides because left-wingers and right-wingers are in fact different fucking species. There's a lot of similarities. There's a heck of a lot of similarities in the way that right-leaners and left-leaners conduct themselves and the way they use arguments and all sorts of other things. And like, everyone just wants to take what is a problem on both sides and just pretend that it only happens on one. And that's just like hack fuck shit, quite frankly. Like, this is the worst analysis that I've heard in fucking time because this person doesn't have a clue.
Do it and they will throw you in that prison. They don't care at all about you. So as I said, I feel like this is an important story and I feel like this needs to be spread around.
And
so
like, we're almost acting as if this person that got arrested because they stated themselves to be religious and a centrist, that they have some kind of kinship with like the right. Like, what are you talking about?
So please, if you think that this is important too, do not just exit out of this video and move on with your day. Post this on social media. Text it to a couple friends. Call someone and talk to them about it. Like, literally do whatever you can, whatever avenue you can. Spread awareness of this incident because the farther this goes and the more people that hear about it, the more effect it can have, the more powerful it can be. And this could be something that changes the future of our rights. Like, this could be a pivot point. This could be a crucial...
Nah, I don't think so. Don't think so.
Action in the fight for our rights. And what scares me is to think that like this is just going to be swept away in the current of news because there's so much going on right now. And then we're going to need to do this again and again and again. And it makes you wonder like how many people are going to have to put themselves at risk, sacrifice their well-being or their lives to create a better future for us. You know, it's like I want there to be as little harm as possible. So hopefully this story creates a big wave and makes a big difference. That's what I would like to see. I'm just really worried that we might have to see more of this in the future. We may need to do more civil disobedience. We might need protests on a larger scale. We might need just more in general from our community in order to fight for our rights and to push for actual progress to get out of this dark age that we're living in. So this is the only story that I'm going to cover today, but I'm not going to leave it on this kind of dark note. I do have...
Yes, it's such a dark age where if you tell the police you're going to do something illegal, they'll arrest you. Something that if you didn't tell the police, you probably would have gotten away with. Like... Okay, sure.
One thing I want to read, I found it on Aaron's site, and it's a wonderful short little read, and I'm just going to go through it.
Yeah, that's the other thing. These people like to just take Aaron in the morning articles. Vorsh does this so much as well. Just take some Aaron in the morning articles, read them, spout off a bunch of your bullshit opinions, which all this person has is bullshit opinions. I don't know if there's one thing in there that made any sense to me. And then that's it. Very easy. I think you fucking owe us some of your fucking royalties, you know what I mean? Anyway, that was pretty cooked. Like I said, I don't really agree with the law. I don't know if I think people should be arrested. I don't, bathrooms are the least kind of contentious of the spaces. When it gets to like prisons and like rape centers and stuff, I think there's a far more airtight case for them being strictly sex only. But yeah, you told the police you were going to break the law, and then you broke the law, and they arrested you. What are you supposed to say? And someone makes a video, arrested for being transgender. Like, you're just lying to people, ultimately. You're trying to radicalize people, and you know you can't do that by being honest. So you have to clickbait it, you have to lie. And that's really quite gross, actually. So there we go.